nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started with the meeting, I'd like to recognize we had an employee that passed away unexpectedly, Bob Seagraves. He was worked for the Department of Aging for 16 years, and he worked very hard with our seniors, and many of them loved him. He's going to be sorely missed. He was a person that was known for his humor and his devotion to the Department on Aging, and I'd like to have just a moment of silence to recognize his passing. Thank you. For those interested, calling hours are going to be 5 to 6 on Wednesday, July 22nd. The memorial service is going to be at the Burr Family Home at 11 o'clock on Thursday, July 23rd. Okay.
The Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute the minutes for the meeting of July 14, 2015.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Financials today include an appropriation transfer for the Juvenile Court Special Projects Fund for compensation of a temporary employee, supplemental appropriation for the County Sewer Improvements Fund for architectural fees for the Merritt Road Garage Expansion Project, the cash transfer from the General Fund for first quarter state fiscal year 16 funding for the Family First Council, contract for Michael G. Sudsina for fiscal consulting services in the amount of $4,500, travel request for the engineers and recorders offices, and a payment to Upstate Wholesale Supply for the purchase of 9 grant-funded MDTs for the Sheriff's Office in the amount of $32,100.
The Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute resolution number 15-100, itemizing the financials for the meeting of July 21st, 2015.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Thank you.
Well, it seems calm and peaceful out here as we're going through this process. You have no idea the chaos that happens in the back room prior to getting out here. Just a flurry of activity to get all this together.
Well, we can tell by the facial expressions upon your arrivals.
Well, there's more going on than you can take. A deep breath is appropriate.
I mean, some are smiling upon arrival, and others are like,
These are all together.
Good morning.
Morning.
So 3 through 8 this morning, I believe,
Yes.
is regarding our homemaker and personal care program. We now call it our Assistance with Daily Living program. We've already awarded the units to these providers. We were waiting for their signed contracts and their performance bonds to come in.
Do we want to read them all together, or?
Is that okay?
It's okay with me, yeah. No.
The Department on Aging is requesting the Board approve and execute the contract agreement with Montefiore Home Care Services Assistance with Daily Living Program for Geauga residents age 16 over for the period August 15, 2015 through August 14, 2017 in the amount of 5,200 units of service for a 2-year period at a reimbursement rate of $21 per unit for a total amount of $109,200. The bid bond submitted shall be called to service the performance fund for this project. The Department on Aging is requesting the Board approve and execute the contract agreement with Family Tree Home Care Services LLC for the Home Care Services Assistance with Daily Living Program for Geauga residents age 16 and over for the period August 15th, 2015 through August 14th, 2017 in the amount of 8,320 units of service for a 2-year period at a reimbursement rate of $21 per unit for a total amount of $174,720. The bid bond submitted shall be held to service the performance bond for this project. The Department on Aging is requesting the board approve and execute the contract agreement with Cherished Companions Home Care LLC for the Home Care Services Assistance with Daily Living Program for Geauga residents age 16 and over for the period August 15th, 2015 through August 14th, 2017 in the amount of 8,320 units of service for a 2-year period at a reimbursement rate of $21 per unit for a total amount of $174,720. The Department on Aging is requesting the board accept the performance bond from Cherished Companions Home Care LLC for the Home Care Services Assistance with Daily Living Program for Geauga residents age 16 and over and further release the bid bond. The Department on Aging is requesting the board approve and execute the contract agreement with All Care LLC doing business as Home Instead Senior Care Services Incorporated for the Home Care Services Assistance with Daily Living Program for Geauga residents age 16 and over for the period August 15th, 2015 through August 14th, 2017 in the amount of 16,640 units of service for a 2-year period at a reimbursement rate of $21 per unit for a total amount of $349,440. The Department of Aging is requesting the board accept the performance bond for All Care LLC doing business as Home Instead Senior Care Services Incorporated for the Home Care Services Assistance with Daily Living Program for Geauga residents age 16 and over and further release the bid bond.
I'll make those motions.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Aye.
I'm sorry.
And then we have a resolution today, Mary Ann Van Pelt, her last day with us, she's retiring, will be on the 31st of this month. And she's been with us about 34 years, so quite a long time. Had an integral role in starting up a lot of the programs. She's one of our site coordinators and she's at Middlefield, so we're very fortunate to have had her for so long, and I think she's looking forward to spending time with her family.
I gotta tell you, I was over at Middlefield, the Department of Aging, last week, commissioner time with the Department of Aging, and the folks over there threaten me. You know, they do their chair volleyball thing, that's a little scary, so,
Did you punch Sandy's hands yet?
no? Well, no, Sandy wasn't over there, so.
Over here at the health thing.
Oh,
when-
yeah.
Oh, you did it
Yeah,
then?
at the health fair
I did
over
the
there,
health
when she has you
Yeah.
put on some kind of gloves and punch your hands.
She was pretty scary too, because she's pretty strong.
She does a boxing with Parkinson's
Yeah.
class. It's pretty amazing.
Which I got a compliment from a gentleman the other day about that. Last night at GGP, I can't even think of the guy's name, but he's at Parkinson's, and he says he participates over here in this building, and he complimented her and your department on that program.
I'm looking forward to get outside the box and do new things.
I think we should have a real life TV with the chair volleyball. I think that would be fun. To get our county YouTube video on the chair volleyball.
Need a guy in a tuxedo to introduce him when they come into the ring.
Just, did we need to make a motion for the posting for the position, for that position? I don't know, how soon did you need a replacement on that,
Bobby.
for the maintenance worker?
I think we're good for a little bit of
Okay.
time, if it's
Okay.
okay, probably in a few weeks, I think.
Okay, I just, just with all the circumstances in case it was overlooked.
Yeah, we're fortunate to have some summer help right now through
Okay.
Catholic Charities and through the JFS program, so we'll be good for a little while.
Okay.
He is actually assigned to Glenn, isn't he?
Pardon me?
Your maintenance guy is actually,
No.
he's not, he's direct for.
Correct. If anyone wants to join Mary Ann's retirement at 11:30,
We do not.
at 11:30, we will have some cake at the Middlefield Center if anyone wants to join to celebrate her retirement.
The Department on Aging is requesting the board approve and execute resolution number 15-101 honoring Mary Ann Ellen Van Pelt for her 34 years of service and dedication to Geauga County and its seniors.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Frank, I think you're up. Mr. Steve. I did not manage to get a contract, copy of the contract.
Good. Yeah, this is an agreement for our fiber connections for mission critical data, video, voice, and data. It's the same contract commitment that we have encumbered over the last 10 years, since 2005, with an increase in the internet bandwidth from 10 meg to 50 meg. Again, it's the same price. They have provided a 10-year bulk rate for 1 year. It's a benefit to the county. We're going to improve communication throughout the county and voice, data, and video.
Sounds good. The only comment that I would have after reading the contract is I looked at the privacy statement, and it's a little, well, confusing, a little bit concerning, so it's not anything that I'm gonna make a big deal of, but it's something to look at, so.
Yeah. Well, Laura looked at the contract and approved it.
Right, I understand. Okay.
The Auditor's Office is requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the Time Warner Cable Business Class order for dedicated internet, metro, Ethernet, and private line service and service agreement for Ethernet services and dedicated internet access for the fiber LAN and DIA for the period July 25th, 2015 through July 24th, 2016, in the amount of $49,440.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Aye.
Items.
Hi Kelly, how are you?
Good morning, how are you?
Good.
Today I'm here for the notice of award for Jadco Construction for the Burton American Legion Hall ADA renovations. We had a bid opening a few weeks ago. They were the lowest and best. We did check out the references. We've never done any work with Jadco before. So we were diligent in checking out their references of their past jobs and made sure we got the recommendation of our architect as well. We also checked the references. So we'd like to award the job to them in the amount of $39,423.
The Office of Community and Economic Development is requesting the board award the bid to Geauga Construction Services Incorporated for the Burton American Legion Hall ADA renovations in the amount of $39,423, as they represent the lowest and best bid, and further approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the bid award.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
You're welcome.
Karen is not going to be coming. She asked if she needed to. I told her I didn't think she did, so.
The county home is requesting the board approve an unpaid personnel leave of absence for Director Karen DeCola for up to 40 hours for the period August 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2015.
I'll make that motion.
So she's asking for, that she could take 40 hours on during that
Unpaid
time?
rate, on an intermittent basis as needed.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Aye. Morning.
Good morning.
Morning,
Commissioners.
Commissioner.
Good.
Easy chair.
No backflip skate. I come before you today to request our grant application for the EMPG, which is Emergency Performance Grant for 2015 fiscal year. The state fiscal year is off, so it's actually runs into 16. This is the way our system always works with the state. It's the FEMA grant that has been over 20 years that supports emergency management at the local level. It's a pass-through through the state of Ohio. They dictate how much everybody gets. This year, we've always in the past, probably the last 4 or 5 years, been able to get some supplemental dollars that were kind of leftover funds. Instead of the state turning them back, they offered them to the county, to other counties, and we were able to put a package together and get supplemental funding from anywhere from 15,000 to 25,000. And so they decided to change their format this year because they kept doing this over and over again, and it says like, kind of some of their practices, they didn't think that were federally approved to do this supplemental. So they reallocated this year, and the reallocation of the funds was based on those counties that applied over those 4 or 5 years for the supplemental dollars. And we were very fortunate to get a $30,000 increase in our funding. So we went from $62,000 to $92,000 in funding this year when the supplemental dollars are going to go away, so we're not eligible for those. But we did get $30,000 additional funding. What it pays for, 50% reimbursement, so it's a $92,000 income for the county at $184,432 match. So we spend $184,000, we get $92,000 back. It pays for 50% of Dale's salary, 50% of our administrator Judy's salary, 50% of the planner's salary. That's what it always has been paid in the past. This year, we've put in the work plan, supplemental dollars usually paid for electric, phone bill, sewer and water. So we put that in as part of that. So it'll pay for 50% of keeping the doors open. That's how the whole process of that organizational part of that is to make sure we have an up and running EOC at all times. So we're going to be able to pull 50% of that dollars that we spend on electric and sewer and phone bill back this year. Plus it'll pay for whatever the leftover funds are, a percentage of my salary. So it's a real increase and a great thing for the county to get the increase of $30,000. So we're very fortunate this year. So, keeps the doors open and keeps emergency management in the county functioning the way we function, and allows us to do all the planning and things that we do. Any questions?
I don't have any questions.
Okay.
The Department of Emergency Services is requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute grant application documents relating to the Emergency Management Performance Grant, EMPG, for fiscal year 2015, and to further approve Director Dale D. Wedge to execute where appropriate in the amount of $92,216 with a 50% match of funds for a total of $184,432.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
I was all ready to ask you a whole bunch of questions. You did such a good job, you took them all away. So, aye.
I'm good. Did you see us on TV?
No?
Channel 5. We did a nice walk interview about the Bainbridge flood. So it wasn't on the internet, but a few people have seen it and said it looked really good.
This was on the
Bainbridge flooding.
storm.
Yeah, we walked the Lake Lucerne Dam, which was overflowing.
Significant.
July.
Wasn't about to
Significant.
reach or anything, was it?
The emergency spillway activated, which is a runaround,
Mhm.
and it was 1.5 feet from overtopping, so it was pretty close. When you go down the next day, it was 5 feet down below where it was, so significant.
Is that an earthen dam? I've never done
Yes,
that.
all earthen dam. It needs to, apparently they're gonna have to, according to ODNR. There were no problems. Their engineers, ODNR's engineers came out that day, that evening, checked the dam, and they had no problems and no issues, but in conversations with ODNR, that dam's probably gonna have to be looked at and redone because it needs to be brought up to more significant code. What a lot of it was, though, was Tanglewood Lake's lake there overflowed also, which it brought the water level up to the greens. So
Did it really?
yeah, that one hole right by the lake there, if you can see it, the difference between the green level and where it was when I got there 3 hours later was at least 15 feet. So that rushes all into Lake Lucerne as kind of the cascade effect there. Looking at the rain gauges from Water Resources and around anywhere from 2 to 3.5 inches of water fell in, what, an hour and a half? In Bainbridge, so.
Now, that was in July, obviously.
Yeah, it's like a couple days ago.
And when was the flood?
In Middlefield?
Middlefield and Burton.
29th of July last year.
29th, okay.
July is bad.
So if we get through this month, then we're probably in good shape, right?
That's for sure, and I think we've had more than one flood in July, it seems like.
2006 flood was July also.
Was it July? So we've had, July's a bad month. Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Bye-bye, Ken.
Bye-bye.
Morning, everyone.
Morning,
Ladies and
Greg.
gentlemen. I will not address the court this morning as I did last week.
So
Sorry.
Raise your hand.
I was expecting you guys to come up with a bunch of robes this morning.
Yeah, we're so looking forward to the promotion.
Sorry, I may it please the commissioners. We're here this morning to ask for the .5 mil levy to be placed on the ballot that we discussed last week with the help of Christy. And again, thank you, Christy, for helping get the paperwork from the auditor's office. The estimated tax revenue has been certified in the amount of $1,523,206 per year, which will amount to approximately $17.50 per household valuation for $100,000 of each household valuation. And that amount has again been certified. And so we're here for the commissioners to ask that to be declared that necessary to be placed on the ballot this fall. And just based upon some noise that came out since last week, I just want to make it clear to everyone that this ask is a needs-based ask. I really want this campaign to be as apolitical as possible. It's really about the children and the needs that are arising right now. And so I would just, hope that we would all keep the sentiments about that, that really this is just, the funds are what they are, the costs are what they are, and the children need this. These children that are placed out of their homes and dealing with some of the hardest hardships possible at their age. So I just ask us to be mindful of that, but again, at the same time, I'm happy to show anyone and be as transparent I can about this ask, to answer any questions, so everyone that feels fully informed about it can be.
Craig, what was that? It was .5 mil, and it was, the total came out to what?
Here, I'll show you a copy of, here's the certificate of estimated property tax value. $1,523,206.
You have to get them back to me.
Okay. Just in case somebody asked us. Thanks. Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone have any questions?
The Department of Job and Family Services is requesting the board approve and execute resolution number 15-102, declaring it necessary to levy an additional tax in excess of the 10 limitation to provide for the necessary requirements of the Geauga County Job and Family Services ORC 5705.27 and 5705.24.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner
Aye.
Spillier? Commissioner Claypool?
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Get to work.
Oh, we will.
Now the work starts.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Today we get green tabs, and green tabs are for the lake.
I was gonna ask you about that. That was the one thing I was gonna ask about. What the heck is he doing this?
I'm the chief executive officer. Didn't you read that?
I couldn't quite understand how that happened.
I forgot about it. I did ask Shane yesterday when we meet again.
I don't know, that's on him.
Yeah.
Hmm?
On the OPWC side of things?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the schedule.
Well, he didn't have an answer for me either.
Yeah. I know he's been diligently working, trying to get all the figures and all that figured out for the whole area.
Let's go to the lake.
Thank you.
I'll go take a coffee break.
Wait, we gotta pass him before I sign him.
You get a 5-minute reprieve with that. How that
Go
goes.
ahead.
The first two on here are for the OPWC project of resurfacing Burton Windsor sections F and G in Huntsburg Township. The first item is to sign the agreement with OPWC and to get a 43% participation percentage from OPWC to pay for the project, in the tunes of about $288,000 for that project. So the first part is to get Mr. Rear to sign it, Commissioner Rear to sign it, and then to award the bid to Ryan. This is it.
15 and 16 together. The county engineer's office is requesting the board approve and authorize Blake A. Rear, board member and chief executive officer, to execute the Ohio Public Works Commission project grant agreement, local transportation improvement program for the Burton Windsor Road resurfacing in the amount of $288,100. The county engineer's office is requesting the board award the bid to Roniak Paving Incorporated for the asphalt resurfacing of Burton Windsor Road, CH 14s, sections F and G in Huntsburg Township, in the amount of $610,241.40, as they represent the lowest and best bid. The bid bond submitted shall be held to service the performance bond for this project.
I'll make those motions.
Second?
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Aye.
17 and 18 are the same process, but for Thwing Road and Chardon Munson Township, section A and B. Again, to get Commissioner Rear to sign the agreement with OPWC. That one is a 5% OPWC share for the project in the amount of about $243,000. And Roniak Paving was the lowest and best bid for the project, so we're looking for you to award the bid to them.
I had one question as you're doing this. Just came to mind here. So this is for Thwing Road. For what distance? We're resurfacing for, what's the distance on it, you know?
Off the top of my head, I do not know the exact, hang on here, Swing Road is, sorry, center line 2.87 miles.
2.7, so the total cost of the project's gonna be what?
Total cost for that project is $548,000,
Of which the WPC is gonna be
about $243,000.
So 2
45.
miles for $548,000 to resurface, so they're redoing the asphalt level.
Right, correct.
Okay, I'm just doing that for reference.
Right.
For the future, so, okay, good.
And again, when I say 243, that depends on the final dollars. It's an exact percentage. We have to pay, they only pay up to an amount, so if it goes over, or if it's under, if the job comes in under, that percentage reduces too. It stays with that bid, so.
Okay.
I have a question. On signing these documents, I see where my name is, but below it says witness. You're the witness. Watch me sign.
The county engineer's office is requesting the board approve and authorize Blake A. Rear, board member and chief executive officer, to execute the Ohio Public Works Commission project grant agreement local transportation improvement program for the Thwing Road resurfacing in the amount of $243,000. The county engineer's office is requesting the board award the bid to Roniak Paving Incorporated for the asphalt resurfacing of Thwing Road, CH 27, sections A and B in Chardon and Munson Townships, in the amount of $548,067.75, as they represented the lowest and best bid. The bid bond submitted shall be held to service the performance bond for this project.
I'll make those motions.
Second?
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
Take
you.
care now.
Take care. Hello, Jerry.
Good morning. Morning.
Laura.
Hi, Laura.
Who's this guy here?
I don't know.
Just trouble.
He's throwing out the heckle.
What, in a couple days, it's civilian, isn't it?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
The first item on the agenda here is a maintenance form increasing the contract with Auburn Fence, one of our service contracts. We've had some additional fence work that we needed to have done at our Scarsdale wastewater plant that we weren't anticipating at the beginning of the year when we did the service contract. So this is just a minimum service contract to be able to do that additional work.
Department of Water Resources is requesting the board approve and execute service contract maintenance form number 1, increasing the contract with Auburn Fence Corporation to perform additional fence installation not covered in the original contract at the Scarsdale wastewater treatment plant in the amount of $7,500.
Make that motion.
Second?
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner
Aye.
Spillier? Commissioner Claypool?
The next item is for our McFarland wastewater plant. We're replacing the membranes that are there, the technology. We're replacing them in kind with what we have there now. with this, we're actually getting, we went out and looked at all the new membrane manufacturers, and us going out and looking at all the new membrane manufacturers made our existing manufacturer basically say, we'll provide you with these membranes because we want to stay at McFarland with almost at cost. So we're going on, we have to replace them because they're beyond their useful life, and we pushed it as far as we can. So now we're at the point where we have to replace these membranes.
What is the useful life on a membrane like that?
It's 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah.
Is that a rubber membrane, or was that, I've never seen one, I don't think.
It's not really rubber. It's a sheet. There are sheets. There's actually, we have 4 trains. In each train there is 18 cassettes, and in each one of those cassettes there's 72 individual membranes. And it's just here we have extra ones down at our plant. I can get one and bring it up and show you what it is, but it's not really rubber. It's just a membrane.
It's a new one,
It's
right?
technology.
Yeah.
We bring used ones up too.
No, just asking.
But
It's a fibrous cloth.
It's
you know.
it's cloth. It's not really.
So then, that amount is $2,981,000.
Yes.
So basically, almost about 300,000 a year is what you pretty much tried to budget for
Yeah,
then?
that's what we budgeted over
Yep.
plan to do.
Yep.
And then we just said, well, you know what, if they're at the point where let's just get them replaced, and we got a brand new plan for the next 10 years, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think on the last budget for the last 3 years, we had $500,000 for the last 3 years, and we never spent it
Yep.
because we were investigating. So now this will be all combined together.
Okay.
Well, wasn't there discussion sometime back about all this new technology and going to Europe or someplace to look at West German or?
That was when we were starting to look at this, and we were analyzing all of the newer design membranes that are out there to see if they'd be more beneficial for us to go with at the plant. And we can, with all the additional work that they would have had to do to get their membranes into our existing plant, and then having Kubota come back and tell us, well, we can replace what you already have now. We're not trying to increase the capacity of the plant or anything like that, so it was beneficial. We found that it was more beneficial for us in the short term and the long term to go with just replace the membranes in kind.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
The Department of Water Resources is requesting the board approve and execute the performance contract between the Geauga County Commissioners and Johnson Controls Incorporated for the replacement of membranes, controls, upgrade, replacement, and lighting upgrades at the McFarland wastewater treatment plant in the amount of $2,981,526.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
And then our last item is for the Troy Oaks Force Main project. It's the motion to award the bid to Precise Boring of Ohio. This is the project that will convert the Troy Oaks wastewater treatment plant into a pump station, which will pump that wastewater over to Auburn Corners, and we'll do the eventual upgrade of Auburn Corners wastewater treatment plant, which is on the other side of Ladue. So we got 2 bids in on that, and both came in under our engineer's estimate of $775,000. So, and Precise Boring of Ohio was in at $695,213.
So in this one, this is what they were gonna do underneath Ladue then?
Yes.
Okay.
They'll be boring the force main under that reservoir, or under Ladue, on the north side of Portland, too, yeah.
Is it the north or the south side?
It's the north
It's the north
side.
side,
Okay.
but then it's gonna cross to go south to get over to
I
Auburn
see.
Corners.
Both of our plants are on the south side, but we couldn't go on the south side because ODOT already has an agreement with the electric company. All their power poles are on the south side. So we had to
That's
go
why we had to
the
cross.
north side.
You're boring,
Most of it is actually in the causeway. It's just where the bridge is.
They
where
gotta
we'll
go
be
down
actually
and
going
under.
underneath the reservoir.
but they'll be boring on the causeway as well. The whole project is bored?
Yes, the whole
Yes.
causeway.
So there's no
Construction.
real disruption to traffic, other than maybe occasionally it's one lane on that
They
side?
will be closing one lane on westbound.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
already
what's the
approved
time
with that.
expectancy on that as far as how long do they predict to?
For the drilling, well, we had on the.
It's
on there-
about a month.
About a month.
Yeah. it's what they're-
Okay.
So it'll be actually broken up into two separate sections. They'll close a lane for a short period of time to do the bore under Ladue at the bridge. And then once we know we've got under that part, which we think is gonna be the hardest part, then they're authorized to do the rest of the bores at that point. So they'll come back up. They'll take time to go order all their materials and get set up and then come back out, reclose the lane.
How deep under the reservoir do they go?
It's gonna be about 5 feet below the bottom of the reservoir.
What diameter?
It's gonna be encased, so there'll be 2 pipes actually underneath there. There'll be a carrying pipe, and then the actual pipe that'll have the sewage in it will be put inside that pipe.
So it's a double
If there's
wall
if there's any
construction.
damage, it'd be to the outside casing pipe. It wouldn't be directly to ours.
What's the diameter? Did you say that and I missed it while I was?
It was 4 inch. Or no, I'm
And then
sorry,
it was
6
10
inch.
inch
It was
casing.
the force main is 6 inch.
Okay.
So we were looking at 4 inch, but then we figured it was planned for it wasn't that much more expensive to go with the 6, and then if there is ever any development on the Troy Oak side, we would have the capacity already.
Akron didn't throw up.
Akron was actually very much in favor of this because in the long run, it's gonna eliminate one treatment plant discharging into their
That load's gonna
reservoir.
be transferred over to Auburn Corners, which is it's a newer plant, and Troy Oaks has had some.
When Auburn Corners was designed 20 years ago, it was actually designed to be expanded at some point in the future.
No, that's good.
All right.
Thank you.
The Department of Water Resources is requesting the board award the bid to Precise Boring of Ohio for the Troy Oaks Force Main project in the amount of $695,213 representing the lowest and best bid.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Aye.
And our last item here is a resolution to honor Doug Bowen on his retirement. Something, he did say something about when we retire, rehire, but we figured that probably wasn't a good thing.
We thought we tried.
What's the commute from Sedona?
1,961 miles.
1,961 miles, well, you're not getting mileage.
Because I know it's the year I was born. I was shocked when I did the math on that. And I drove it once.
With the new technology, there's a lot of people doing remote
That's true.
remoting in, so
That's true.
we could throw your picture up on a screen and have you consult independently. I think that this is, certainly, while I'm very sad to see Doug go, I'm very happy that we've got a very good backup and the guy in place. So we're very, very fortunate here in Geauga County and have been, so.
The Department of Water Resources is requesting the board to execute resolution number 15-103 honoring Douglas Bowen on the occasion of his retirement from the Department of Water Resources.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
You want to read that? Or is it-
Yeah. So, this resolution is honoring Doug Bowen on the occasion of his retirement from the Department of Water Resources. Whereas Douglas Bowen began the first 10 years of his career serving the public at the City of Cleveland Water Department, then serving as the Portage County Water Resources before arriving in Geauga County, where for the last 20 years he survived that one, worked at the Water Resources Department, which since June 1st, 2009 has been serving as the director, and whereas Douglas Bowen will most be remembered as the Candyman for his jazzercise presentations that he provided during the Wellness Expo and for driving his Duggars Camaro. And whereas Douglas Bowman is trading in his daylilies for cacti and jazzercise for contra dancing, where he jet sets off to his new home in Sedona, Arizona. And whereas Douglas Bowen looks forward to spending his time providing tours of the Red Rocks, escorting, by the way, I want to get on that list, escorting Grand Canyon hiking tours, that list too, and giving cracked axle tours in his new Jeep. And whereas the Department of Water Resources will entrust him with the status of distinguished alum, and now therefore be it resolved that the Geauga County Board of Commissioners honor Douglas Bowen on the occasion of his retirement and thank him for all of his accomplishments and for his many years of service and dedication to Geauga County and its residents. And be it further resolved that this resolution become part of the permanent record for the Board of Commissioners of Geauga County, Ohio. Thank you, Doug, for your time.
Thank you.
Speech?
Goodbye.
It's just been an honor to live in Geauga County for over half my life, and even it's great to be able to drive within 10-15 minutes for 20 years, be so close. And I hate to say it, but our water resources is probably the best department. The most dedicated employees that we have. I mean, they're there 24/7. They stay out there to 2-3 o'clock in the morning until that every customer's satisfied and every lab sample's been taken. And we have 8,000 customers, and we make sure that we never get a single complaint. And I mean, it's the best crew that I'm glad that they're here. And that's why I shine, because of all 40 of those. So I much appreciate everybody here. So,
Thanks, Doug.
yes.
Thank you for your service.
I'm glad you didn't make a speech.
Doug?
Yeah.
White copy stays here, right?
I remember.
Okay, so what we're doing is we're trying to cut down on inter-office mail.
Congratulations. Yep, for sure.
Took your thunder.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you. Good luck now.
Hey, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hello. And doing today.
Number 23, the board asks the board to accept the resignation of Michael Hartz. He was a part-time driver, going to be effective July 8th. Mike was came to us in January, very good employee. However, found a full-time job. And even though we tried to work with him to try to keep him on, because he was very good. Good with people, good for a job. He decided to go with the full-time job. I will just make a note that when we do interview for a part-time position, it should be known that we are very insistent about this is a part-time job. It does not go into full-time. So the person's right up front, know the expectation is that it's part-time, not full-time.
Okay.
The Transit Department is requesting the board accept the resignation of Michael Clark's part-time driver to be effective July 8th, 2015.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
The next one is the Transit Department. Every quarter, we ask for the Ohio Motor Fuel Tax refund claim. If you guys okay that. This time it's for $22,303.91. That's from April 1st through June 30th. Yes, that you okay that, so we can collect that money back from the state of Ohio.
The Transit Department is requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the Ohio Motor Fuel Tax refund claim for transit buses for the period April 1st, 2015 through June 30th, 2015 in the amount of $2,303.91.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner
Aye.
Spillier? Commissioner Claypool?
Aye.
The Commissioner's Office is requesting the board cancel session for Thursday, July 23rd, 2015.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Aye.
This waiting to your executive session.
Yes. Yeah, prior to moving into we have an executive session coming up, but prior to moving into executive session, we have an item that I wanted to talk about. It's not on the agenda. That has to do with filling the board seats. You didn't necessarily sit. It has nothing to do with transit.
Thank you, thank you.
Although we love seeing you sit there. We have 3 seats that are up for us to fill on the mental health board. We've been very fortunate. We've had a lot of applications, some of which have been pouring in at the last minute. And so I wanted to talk about this morning and in my case, I'm ready to move on at least 2 of the seats, and so I'm going to talk about that a little bit. I have interviewed all the sitting board members and all candidates that have come in up until this morning. We received another application. This one I had not seen yet, so I hadn't had the chance to talk to them. Actually, that was the latest one, is that right?
No, that one came in yesterday morning. This is the last one that came in.
Oh, okay, that was the one, yeah, that was the one I got a chance to talk to. So with that said, I'm not sure where the other commissioners are regarding interviewing or talking to other folks, but I'd like to move for 1 seat at this point in time. That's Lisa Cavassini, who I see in the audience here right now. Given the fact that she has relatives in the system, in the mental health system, and as a responsible citizen, was the first to notice the survey that was going out, one of a handful of citizens that picked up on that, did the responsible thing, and she's now wanting to take that responsible position. I'd like to move to name her to be on the mental health board, and I would suggest to fill Muriel Ann Rue's seat. So with that, I open that for discussions.
Well, I won't be seconding or voting on any of the appointments this morning. I received 4 resumes yesterday morning. Was involved in meetings until at least, well, till 8 o'clock last night is when I got home, and I don't call people at that hour. Then there's another one, as you stated, that came in this morning, and I'm troubled by the fact that we had 4 people for a month, and then we got 4 people, 5 in a period of 4 days, many of which you encouraged to apply for this job. And going back to your campaign promises and your complaints about the previous board, you mentioned the favoritism, nepotism, and cronyism that was rampant in the previous board. And I went and looked at 4 sources, dictionaries. Favoritism shown to old friends without regard for their qualifications, as in political appointments to office. The practice of appointing friends to high-level, especially political posts, regardless of their suitability, and on and on. And pushing this through when you didn't act on 4 qualified people to bring us or to entertain other people in such short order, to me smacks of what you decry. So I will not be moving the motions, nor will I be voting on any of these this morning.
Blake, I thank you for bringing that up, and let me comment on it, address that. We had 4 individuals, 3 of whom were seated, and 1 of whom had 10 years of experience in the mental health board already. Part of the challenge that we've had right along is that you can't change the situation with the thinking that created it. And so I talked to all the sitting board members in an open-minded fashion to determine what their qualifications were, what their interest was in moving forward. I also, and Jessica can speak to this, as can Craig Swenson, as can a number of individuals in this county, I actively promoted across the board for candidates who are qualified to submit their names. Did I reach out to folks that I knew? Absolutely I did, because I was actively seeking qualified individuals. I will defend vigorously the qualifications and background of Lisa, of Dave Welty, of every person who has submitted their application, and I am prepared and willing to debate that with you at any point in time. We need to change the nature and the makeup of this board so we can change the outcomes that are occurring right now in the mental health board. We have activities that are going on, I'm not going to get into the details of, that need to be corrected. And we can't do that with the individuals that have created that problem. So with that said, I stand firmly in the camp of Lisa Cavazzini. She is a responsible person. She showed up at the mental health board meetings to take an active interest as a citizen of this county, and rightly so. I recognized her at that point in time as an individual who was a responsible citizen, and I would ask you, Blake, do you not want responsible citizens who have an interest in looking out for the best interest of the people in this county?
I will counter that with the fact that you're asking me to make a decision on information that I received 24 hours ago. Well, you've sat on it for quite some period of time, and you also clearly have an agenda. Not only the people that you may suggest, and I'm not saying that they do, but your attempt and the majority of this board's attempt to intimidate current board members into resigning by taking legal action against them, which has not yielded any positive result and cost the taxpayers, I don't even know how much money, leads me to believe that your judgment on this issue is not unbiased, and that you as well have an agenda. One in which I'm not convinced, when we get into those departments, that the Board of Commissioners has a direct involvement with as far as philosophical viewpoints. You hire good people, you appoint good people, they do their job. If there's a problem with that, well, I'm not sure how you address it, but you don't address it at a last minute appointment of people. As I said, I got this less than 24 hours ago, and I told you that I'd be having a difficult time interviewing these people yesterday because I was busy all day, including filling in for you when you were off for a little bit. I had no opportunity to call these people unless it was after 8 o'clock at night, which is something I don't even answer the phone then, so don't call me.
All right, let me clarify a few things. First of all, do I have an agenda? You bet I do. And I will freely and loudly admit we need to have a responsible board in place at the mental health board. You need to apologize to me for the miscorrect statement you just made in terms of legal action. We have taken no legal action, zero legal action against the mental health board. And we spent a few $1,000s in the effort to get better information to determine what our rights were relative to the board. And as a new commissioner, I'm trying to understand what our responsibilities are. And we have a fiduciary responsibility relative to the people that we appoint to these boards. These boards are important. The mental health board spends millions of dollars. They impact our mentally ill. If their judgment is inappropriate, and it is in many situations, on little things, like running a meeting, then how can we possibly trust their judgment on big things, like spending millions of dollars and making decisions about our mentally ill? We need to make a change in that board. And by the way, you have had the same opportunity as I've had, as anybody in this audience should know. Information that's received in this office is sent to all 3 commissioners, and we've had the current set of applications, 4 or 5 applications for the 4 seated, for 2 weeks. We have a responsibility to fill these seats. I did my responsibility. I stepped up and called everybody on that we had resumes for. Even when they were rolling in last night, I called people late into the evening to ensure that I had talked to every single person that had submitted a resume. We received one this morning, so I haven't been able to talk to the lady who we received a resume from. But I can't be accountable for the actions of other board members. I can be accountable for my actions, and I will defend vigorously my actions, and I will defend my ability and right to do the accountable, responsible thing, and that is to get good board members on this board so they're making good decisions for the mental health board.
You haven't acted on a board member for the Planning Commission, and it was due on January 1st. I brought the man's name up who was more than qualified, and you've remained silent because you want to put your people on your boards. If you want an apology for stating a legal action, we're now into semantics. When we hire attorneys to do to research and do legalese issues, legal action may not describe it, but certainly they did research, and it was more, has been more than a few $1,000s. It has yielded nothing and will yield nothing. And at some point in time, this board is going to have to come forward and terminate that action. And at that time, there'll be a final accounting. And when that happens, sir, you'll own it.
Hey, I'm ready to own it.
I am
ready
okay.
to step up because we have gotten a lot of value out of that attorney. And because this is not over yet. And so, with that said, my motion stands for Lisa Cavassini to fill the seat of, what did I say? Mariel Anru. And I asked the other commissioner whether he'd be willing to second that and to vote with me or not.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Rea?
No.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Aye. With that said, we have another resume that we've received from a gentleman by the name of Dave Walty, an attorney, getting ready to retire, very interested, and he's been very involved on on a social level, been helping a lot of people privately, he and his wife, in a lot of capacities. They have a lot of programs they've started in downtown Cleveland and so on and so forth. I think adding somebody with a legal background to this board would be extremely beneficial, given some of the stuff that we've certainly just recently gone through. And so I would suggest that we nominate him for the seat of Daniel Schweid, and so that's, with that said.
I have a question on that gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
He is currently employed by Lindy.
Mm-hmm.
Are they not affiliated with Airgas?
They are not.
They are not, Airgas does not have any control or any interest in Lindy?
No affiliation, they're competitors.
They were, I'm not sure that they still are.
They are competitors, and
Right.
if you make any accusations to
No,
the contrary,
I'm not making, I'm asking you a question.
and I've answered the question, they have zero affiliation.
Mr. Schweed is not your appointment. He's allowed to appoint mental health.
Oh, I see, okay, I'm
So
sorry.
you either have to choose Mr. Fontel or Ms. Miller.
I didn't see, I don't have Miss Miller, so there'd be Miss Miller. So the motion stands.
Second?
Commissioner Rea?
No.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Aye. Okay, there's a third seat up, and in deference to the number of resumes that came in at the last minute, I would hold off on, I was ready and prepared this morning to make a nomination for that seat. I'd like to, unless somebody else has a nomination that they would want to make, I'm ready to defer that one for another week or so, to allow more time for consideration on that one. So, any comments on that?
Looking at the, on the resumes, I think that, Jana had quite a bit of experience. I believe she had also, that day she had come in and made a small presentation here at the meeting. And I think that she would make a, good person for that position.
I could support Jana. She's actually got a very good background. She and I talked yesterday. Works here in the county in a similar capacity. She's got a psychology background. I would be very comfortable with her in that role. So I'll move for her to fill Jana's.
Is this the application that came in this morning?
No.
Yes, it is.
No, it didn't. It came in yesterday.
Well, it came in last night. It was distributed to us this morning.
I'll second that.
Okay. James Ponto. Jana.
Handle.
And for the record, Blake, I have absolutely no awareness who she is. She's not a friend, not an acquaintance. It's a resume that we received.
Commissioner Rea?
No.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Aye. Okay.
So we have another item.
Yeah, we're moving to executive session.
So,
Will there be action? We have to make a motion. I move to go into executive session.
I waive the hearing, or the reading.
It's
No
just
reading.
no reading.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Aye.
Will there be action upon this turn?
Possibly. There may possibly be action.
Possibly action.
Possibly.
Who else going in?
Just myself and Mike?
Diane?
Yeah, before you adjourn into an executive session, could you please state the full name of the nominee that you were just discussing?
Sure, that's Jana
L. Gandolf.
Gandolfi.
Okay.
Gandolfi.
Okay.
What are the other two names, please?
Dave Walty and Lisa Cavassini.
Where's Ken?
We've got liquid sunshine.
Well, where's the disaster guy when you need him?
S-I, and then I. Sorry, Green, which, yeah, that's okay. Cavasi, and then I. Or another thing. I don't know if that's,
I would probably run it past.
that's something we'll have to have.
And
To make sure that.
because of the nature of these all personal individuals, we're gonna have to ask her. So they get clearance on that.
Yeah.
Whether these applications are public. Well, you can ask to see them and not just.
Why not wait?
I don't feel comfortable.
Hey,
Jeff, how you doing, Ralph?
Pretty well decided. Or you don't know your,
Thanks.
anyway.
For sure. Yep.
Well, I'll be.
Is this all of them? Okay.
Speak up, Mike. You're very soft-spoken.
Okay, whenever you guys are ready.
Thank you for telling me that. You're the only person I know that's.
Return from executive session at 10:20.
The Transit Department is requesting the board accept the disciplinary recommendation of the hearing officer Karen DeCola and to suspend without pay Harry Whalen, part-time transit driver in the Transit Department for 4 hours for a violation of Transit Policy Manual pages 9 and 10, Best Practices Preventable Accidents Level 3, and further to approve and execute the order of removal, reduction, suspension, and voluntary disciplinary separation form for ORC 124.34 for the 4 hours.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Aye.
Thank you.
Move to
Thank
adjourn.
you.
There are
Second?
places marked on there for each of you to sign. And there's 3 copies.
Christine, did you see this one here? Did you
Oh,
get a
okay.
copy of this with the, for the contracting with, you know what, if you wanna make a copy of this for the other commissioners too, it's just.
Is that regular or
Or
actual?
a copy of
I
that.
think I got it. I got
You each
it.
got one? All right, I'll make a copy of it for the file and then. I'll
Yeah,
just
and then
back
just
to
throw
you.
it back on my desk there, that'll be good.
I wasn't clear about what that was about.
think basically it's for the, you know, like entering into, the bid process, I believe, and, yep.
I'll take a look at it. Anything else?
I moved to adjourn, so.
Man, I came straight